Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Watias. I'm a second-year pre-theology seminarian at St. Paul's, and I just want to thank you for being with us this morning and for allowing me to share a bit of my story. Priesthood had been in the back of my mind since 8th grade. I was a receptionist at St. Elizabeth of Hungary Parish in the office there, and Father Conley, the pastor at the time, would often come into the rectory office and chat with me. And he was a very kind and humble man, a model for me. And he often asked if I ever thought of the priesthood. And I said no. I never really gave it much thought. And at that point, I was in 8th grade, and I just wanted to live a normal life. I wanted to go to high school, wanted to go to college, wanted to get a job, get married, have a house, have a family, just have the normal life. So as an 8th grade kid, I really didn't give it much thought. But Father Conley always said to put it in the back of your mind and not to rule it out completely. And Father Conley was so nice and such a role model for me, I didn't want to make him upset. So I said, sure, Father, I'll put it in the back of my mind. And after that, I put it in the very, very back recesses of my mind. I never really thought about it after graduating grade school, entering high school at Thomas Jefferson, and then college at the University of Pittsburgh, where I studied pharmacy and graduated in 2012. The priesthood really didn't move back from that recess of my mind. However, after I graduated school, I got a job at West Penn Hospital working as a pharmacist there, and I had worked there for 6-7 years after graduation. Everything was going very well. I had a good job. I bought a house in Bloomfield. I was very comfortable there. I was also starting to get more involved in the church at St. Maria Goretti Parish and at St. Paul's Cathedral in Oakland. There I started becoming more integrated with the young adult ministry team, and I really started to feel at home here. The community was very life-giving and very fulfilling, and I found myself drawing energy from serving that community and serving the church as a whole. In 2018, I was on the leadership team for our St. Paul's Cathedral Young Adult Ministry team, and one of the exercises that we were given was to complete the Clifton Strength Finder survey. Some of you may be familiar with this. If you're not, it's basically a series of questions to explain your individual strengths and also your weaknesses. And our group was going to see where our individual strengths were and how those fit into the group as a whole. I never really put a lot of stock into personality tests and things of that like. I thought, I know myself, I don't need some standardized test to tell me about me. But this was a pivotal point in my vocation story. I completed the Strength Finders test, and then I met with a coach who helped you identify those strengths and how you could best utilize them. I had never seen myself described in an objective and concrete way as I did after taking this survey. And when I met with my coach, we discussed that, and we discussed a lot more of that about vocation, about what I wanted in my life. And through my comments and some of my answers, she just came out and asked if I had ever thought about the seminary. I said no. She asked if I had ever been in the seminary. I said no, that one was true. Then she finally looked at me and said, I think you should go to the seminary. Like now, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. Her boldness, her candor, it just was like hitting me across the head with a 2x4. Eventually, I was able to explain that the seminary had actually been in the back of my mind before, thanks to Father Conley in 8th grade. But I always thought I was called to be a lay, faithful Catholic, healthcare professional, married with a family, perhaps one day serving the church in some capacity, maybe as a deacon. As I was explaining my plan to her and reflecting on it, I realized that it was really just my attempt to retain control, to serve the church on my own terms, to continue working as a pharmacist, choosing where to spend my time, my money, my energy. It all just seemed very selfish. It was almost like I was trying to manufacture my own vocation, remain in control of everything, and live on my own terms, rather than asking God what He wants for my life, abandoning my own plans, and cooperating with His will. I immediately thought of the parable of the rich young man who went away sad because he had great wealth, and of Christ's words to His disciples, "Whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." I don't think that I ever honestly discerned a vocation to the priesthood or religious life. As I continued to discuss this with my spiritual director and those close to me, it became apparent to all of us that I needed to take the next step in the discernment of the priesthood. I began praying and reflecting upon our meetings and my vocation. I had always felt a call to service, which I could see in my work as a pharmacist, with the young adult ministry, on medical mission trips, and as a lay minister in the church. During this time of discernment, I looked back into my personal journal notes, and I found that I had been commenting on my vocation, my mission, and service, and a desire to serve in almost every day's entry. As I look back, it became pretty clear where I was called to continue. I kept seeing in those notes how I felt a lack of passion and a lack of mission in life. Never had a strong desire for career or promotion or money. And now, more than ever, all that seems so insignificant compared to a life lived for Christ. So I decided to take the next step, and I entered St. Paul's Seminary in the fall of 2018. Since that time, my understanding of myself and of the priesthood has continued to grow. I now see the real possibility of living a life completely for Christ, and I'm ready to take the next step in discernment by moving on to major seminary next year. I have enjoyed the journey so far, especially when I know that all of this is being done for the Lord, with the hope of one day, if it be His will, serving Him and you as His priest. Thank you again for allowing me to share a bit of my story. I humbly ask that you keep me and my brother seminarians in your prayers as we discern our vocation. Know that we will be praying for you and for the Church of Pittsburgh. May the Lord help us all to know His will and to do it with courage and faith.
We're thinking, guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear the applause.